CNN. Special counsel Robert Mueller examined whether President Donald Trump lied to him in written answers during the Russia investigation, a possibility House Democrats have said they continue to look into even after Trump's impeachment.
That revelation comes from sections of Mueller's final investigative report largely related to the 2016 election efforts of convicted former Trump advisor Roger Stone that the Justice Department unveiled on Friday.
Mueller documented how Trump responded to him in written questions that he hadn't remembered discussing WikiLeaks with Stone. He also found that Trump had had conversations with Stone and others about WikiLeaks, the newly unsealed report says.
Michael Cohen recalled a conversation in which Roger Stone told Trump that WikiLeaks planned to release information soon, and Manafort recalled that Trump had asked him to stay in touch with Stone about WikiLeaks, the report says.
It is possible that, by the time the president submitted his written answers 2 years after the relevant events had occurred, he no longer had clear recollections of his discussions with Stone or his knowledge of Stone's asserted communications with WikiLeaks. But the president's conduct could also be viewed as reflecting his awareness that Stone could provide evidence that would run counter to the president's denials and would link the president to Stone's efforts to reach out to WikiLeaks, Mueller wrote, analyzing whether Trump had obstructed justice related to Stone.
Trump and Roger Stone may have discussed how Trump would answer Mueller.
Another portion that was previously redacted suggests Stone may have been aware of Trump's written answers to the Office of the Special Counsel's questions for their ongoing investigation when Stone was indicted on charges of obstruction, witness tampering and making false statements in January 2019.
The night of Stone's initial court appearance on January 25, 2019, Stone appeared on Fox News and indicated he had knowledge of the president's answers to the office's written questions, the report states.
That evening, Stone appeared on Fox News and indicated he had knowledge of the president's answers to this office's written questions. When asked if he had spoken to the president about the allegation that he had lied to Congress, Stone said, "I have not," and added, when the president answered the written interrogatories, he correctly and honestly said, "Roger Stone and I never discussed this and we never did."
Cohen says Trump discussed WikiLeaks releases with Stone in summer of 2016.
Trump discussed WikiLeaks' plans to release more information in the summer of 2016 with Stone, Trump's former personal attorney Michael Cohen told the Office of the Special Counsel. Cohen said he remembered hearing Stone tell Trump that Stone had just gotten off the phone with Julian Assange and that WikiLeaks planned to release information soon, according to the report.
This contradicts Trump's claims in his written answers to the Office of the Special Counsel that he did not have conversations with Stone about WikiLeaks.
15 months later,
the public release on Friday spells out what Mueller found regarding the Trump campaign and Russia in 2016, and spotlights details about Stone's efforts and cover-up that hadn't yet been spelled out in full by Mueller for the public. The Mueller report is one of the most extensive fact-finding documents about the Trump campaign and presidency.
The re-release of the Mueller report on Friday comes 15 months after Mueller first handed it to the Justice Department for Attorney General William Barr to release, and several months after Stone's trial revealed details in the report that had been kept confidential.
Many of the details about Stone had been kept under wraps until his trial last year for lying to Congress, witness tampering and obstruction, for which a jury found him guilty on all 7 counts. Prosecutors said Stone had lied to the Republican-led House of Representatives in 2017 to protect Trump.
The revelations at Stone's trial last year illustrated just how involved the president was in encouraging his campaign's interest in foreign interference.
Notably, the trial revealed the details of a much-discussed part of the Mueller report about Stone, specifically what Trump had said to him regarding election interference during a car ride to LaGuardia Airport.
There's no proof that Trump's campaign illegally conspired with suspected Russian hackers, but Trump's former deputy campaign chairman Rick Gates testified about the July 2016 conversation between Trump and Stone, apparently about what WikiLeaks had lined up for the autumn, ahead of the general election.
After Mr. Trump got off the phone with Mr. Stone, what did Mr. Trump say? Prosecutor Aaron Zielinski asked Gates.
He indicated more information would be coming, Gates replied.
It was, in a way, a gift that we had not sought, but was coming out, Gates added about the WikiLeaks releases during the latter half of the campaign.
Gates and former Trump top advisor Steve Bannon emphasized in their testimony at Stone's trial the campaign's enthusiasm about Russian hacks and leaks of documents to WikiLeaks dating back to April 2016. News of the hacks first broke in June 2016, and WikiLeaks started dumping the stolen documents in July 2016, on the eve of the Democratic National Convention.
Still, Barr announced after reviewing Mueller's report he did not find that any Trump campaign associates coordinated with Russian interference in the election. When Barr released the 448-page report in April 2019, it carried extensive redactions. Many were marked redacted because they could cause harm to an ongoing matter, such as Stone's trial, which was slated for later that year.
The release Friday comes after a transparency group, the Electronic Privacy Information Center, and BuzzFeed News pushed for the re-release of the report in court. The federal judge overseeing the case has called Barr's spin of the findings a calculated attempt to help Trump politically.
Despite the testimony of top Trump aides, Barr's approach to the findings has allowed Trump to proclaim no collusion and no obstruction.
The president has come to Stone's defense following his conviction for lying to Congress about his campaign time efforts, and Stone is publicly pushing for a presidential pardon before he is set to report to prison June 30 to serve a 40-month sentence.
Declination memo released.
The Justice Department also released a memo on Friday between top department officials documenting that they declined to charge Trump with obstruction of justice because they believed there wasn't enough evidence.
The Deputy Attorney General Ed O'Callaghan and Office of Legal Counsel head Stephen Engel wrote to Attorney General William Barr on March 24 recommending the evidence Mueller found wasn't enough to charge Trump with obstruction. The version of the memo released Friday is 3 paragraphs, spanning only 2 pages. It appears the Department of Justice entirely withheld at least 8 pages of the memo.
We conclude that the evidence described in Volume 2 of the Mueller report is not, in our judgment, sufficient to support a conclusion beyond a reasonable doubt that the president violated the obstruction of justice statutes, Engel and O'Callaghan wrote. Barr signed his approval of their recommendation that same day, 2 days after Mueller ended his investigation.
Mueller famously took issue with the department leadership's abrupt characterization, which Barr repeated in describing the findings to Congress that weekend.
Mueller told Barr after the Attorney General announced the declination that the Attorney General hadn't fully captured his conclusions.
If we had had confidence that the president clearly did not commit a crime, we would have said so, Mueller later said publicly.
Mueller had documented extensive evidence in his final report in March 2019 that Trump tried to obstruct the Russia investigation in multiple ways, and declined to make a charging decision. A Justice Department policy said that a sitting president could not be indicted.
This story has been updated with additional details from the report.